So this topic of intuition is such a great one because when we're talking about business and we're talking about, the corporate world, intuition isn't necessarily something that comes to mind. It's oftentimes a very pragmatic kind of approach and very practical approach. Hence, intuition is something that I found, particularly in my career and leading people and recruiting people, very important. And so as we're talking about that today, and I'm very curious, Raj, to hear your approach to recruiting and bringing in intuition, but also Betska, I'd love to start off with, what does that even mean? Like when we're talking about intuition, like how does that come in, and what should we understand about this concept before we even get started talking about recruiting and retention?
Yes, thanks, Marion. Well, science has shown us something quite remarkable. And I was watching a video by Greg Braden recently, and his research was showing that the human heart, right in here, actually has a brain. We know we have a brain here. And of course, all throughout our podcast, I talk about each cell in our body, our 50 to 100 trillion cells, also has a brain. Each cell has a responsibility to do whatever, look after our kidneys, liver, whatever. But the heart actually has an energy inside of it, which shows us that it is also our brain. And it makes so much sense to me because when I'm coaching, for example, and I coach, using my brain and my heart, I use my intuition, basically. So when I'm using my intuition, where am I connecting? Where is that coming from? And I've realized that it's coming from my heart. That brain within my heart is what is making the decision. Because if we just use our logical left brain, how many times does that land us in hot water, right? We make wrong decisions. But when you connect with that energy field, with that brain, so-called brain in your heart, you rarely make mistakes. And this isn't, someone once said, some guy, I forget who it was, said that if God hid our intuition, hid our intelligence in a place where humans would have difficulty finding it. And that's in the heart, because humans, for the most part, have, not everyone, of course, and what I'm about to say seems a little difficult to absorb, but what we're saying is that every human being has the ability to truly connect with their heart, but many of us have had it shut down. And for example, I'll bring, all three of us meditate, and we know the power of meditation. But in the US and Canada, for example, because I live in Canada, we have taken religion out of the schools. We've taken God out of the schools. We've taken God out of our corporations. We've taken God out of the community. The church is struggling to survive. But the churches, the religions, the good ones, of course, because there's some that are not so good, in my opinion, they were trying to teach us to connect to our hearts, right? You think about Christ and Mohammed, may peace be upon him, the Sikh gurus, Krishna, Ching Hai today, fully living master. These people are all trying to teach us to listen to our heart. Well, why is that? Because that is where our intuition comes from. But humans, for the most part, have learned to shut it down. And how do we shut it down? Well, we shut it down by what we're eating. If we're eating way too much meat, we're eating the fear of animals, right? That's putting us in. Maybe we're drinking too much alcohol. We've moved away from living a healthy life. And therefore, our intuition gets cut off. I've really noticed that. So when I'm working with a client, I try to get them to live a healthier lifestyle. And guess what? Their intuition starts to come back. Their leading their life from their heart starts to come back. So I could say a lot more, but I'm going to turn the microphone over to Raj, because how much sense does that make to you guys?
See, if I'm talking about my recruitment work, so whenever I'm hiring for my clients, or if I'm hiring any candidate, and if I'm doing interviews and the other process, so I don't know why I have some sense through my meditation whenever I'm meeting with any client, any candidate. So unintentionally or intentionally, whatever you say, I'm always getting right one whenever I'm going for recruitment. So it's my nature also. If I'm recruiting for you, yeah, anyone, I'm not counting you as a you are my vendor. I'm always thinking this is my organization. If I'm thinking Betska house is my house, so I will do best cleaning housekeeping work. If I'm thinking I'm working with only Betska house just for sake of dollar money, I will not do good justice. I will do average work. But if I'm realize I'm working is Marion or Betska house because it's my house, they are my family member. So I will do 100% best job. That is my inner nature, my insight through my childhood time. Whenever I was study also, whenever I'm doing anything in my life, I do my best. Otherwise, I will not do. I will back off. So if I'm inviting you as a candidate, yeah, if I'm taking your interview telephonic round or like Zoom interview, like video, so immediately within 2 or 3 minutes, I realize this is the right fit or not through my first sense of my meditation and my connection. Negative, or I don't know why, if I'm talking with someone, automatically they will run away, or either they will go away in a very smooth way, and either client, either candidate, both side, because I'm always giving whenever I found right candidate, and if I'm giving to my clients, they are 101% fit for the company, and fit for the culture, fit for the nature, because the nature is also important. Like for example, if Betska as a my client very aggressive nature, so my duty, I will give candidate to Betska very calm and cool nature. So Betska and the candidate nature will very smooth, going a very right direction. If I am giving you like you are a very aggressive, and candidate also I'm giving you aggressive, so you will not at all work together. You
So
all the time
Raj,
fighting together. So I'm always whenever I'm taking any recruitment project from my client, I will first judge company culture, boss nature, then I will suggest you will keep this kind of that kind of candidate. So company will also take benefit from candidate side, and candidate also will take good benefit and future with your company. That is the very important for the long way goal. Otherwise, if you want to work shortcut, so no solution. The
So
nature, yeah, please ask me.
it's interesting why you bring up, Raj, because I think it combines the intuition with your experience and understanding the compatibility.
yes,
Because and to your point, I agree, if you have two of the same, whatever that personality is, two very assertive or two very passive, it is rarely ever a good fit. But I would like to bring it back to the intuition, and perhaps some people listening here might wonder, okay, that's all great, but like how do I access that? How do I get to that? And coming from a very A-type kind of corporate environment, like especially when we are recruiting, and one of the things that I believe when you're recruiting new people and tapping into your intuition is going beyond the noise, right? And the maybe the qualifications, the skills, like all of these outer things that we judge people by, or we measure people by, if we have a certain position open and we're looking for somebody that maybe has the degrees and they have the experience and they have the skills, and it all seems like it's lining up perfectly, but our feeling, our gut, our intuition says, well, something is off here. And I believe that is what we're talking about here, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is that differentiator. You could have on paper the perfect person, but your intuition will determine whether or not it's truly aligned.
So I think what Raj is saying is that, he's using two things to decide whether he should recommend someone or not. He's looking at their qualifications, right? But he's looking at the energy of the person. What are they exuding? What's the energy? And so if someone, for the people who are listening here, if they wonder, well, how do they figure out about the energy? You can look at someone's resume and you can clearly see whether they are fit for the job or not. But how do you figure out if energetically they're going to be good for the organization? So here's an easy way to do that. You can take that person. For someone who wants to learn how to use their intuition, this is a really good exercise. They can take that person's name, okay, and just put it right here. And then they can stand up and they can let their body move forwards or backwards when they're thinking about this person. If they're leaning forwards, then that means that person will be good for the organization. If the body goes backwards, it means no, don't go there, don't hire that person. The indigenous people in our country use that all the time. It's because you're connecting with the heart. Then you've got the person's name here or picture, and again, you always have a sip of water to make sure you're connecting. But if the body goes forward, a lot of people will do that when they're going grocery shopping. If they have different apples and they want to know, well, which apple is good for us or whatever. It's in many ways it's called muscle testing. People use their fingers as well, but this is a body. The body will tell you, is my point. Raj has got that down to a science. Because he meditates so much and he's so in tune with people, he does it automatically. But for many people, they wouldn't know how to do that, right? So that's a little tip.
One more point I'm adding you. Whenever I'm hiring any candidates, so you're pointing the good resumes, good qualification, good matching. But I am always focused on very important point from my side. The person should be simple, little bit humble, not so much humble, at least humble and kind. I will never select any candidate who have high attitude, arrogancy, and so much drama kind of attitude. I never selected, because I know this person will harm to company also and company culture also. So I always try, even if I'm working big corporate house also, and that is why they love me so much, my client, because I'm not playing with emotions or money. I'm playing with good work, good relationship, and the long way. I always insist my every client, don't go for shortcut, go for long way. Sometimes I'm sorry interrupting you. Sometime I have done 2 or 3 mistakes also when I was very young. Like, unfortunately, I passed the candidate, and second round he eligible for second round. But after second round interview, I realized, oh my God, this is not the right fit. He hides something between me and my team. Then immediately I call my client and update, this is not right person for you. I will give you another person. So client always appreciate, because client said people want quick money. You are not asking quick money. You want hard way, but the right way. So this is my nature. Yeah,
Yeah,
Marion.
and I just want to point something out that for what both of you said, Raj and Betska, we probably have people here that are employees themselves, and I would imagine it goes the same the other way. You could, as a candidate, you can really listen in and see if this is a good feel, if it gives you a good feel, if your intuition tells you that this is something you want to move forward with, or if it is maybe sounding too good to be true.
Mhm.
So I think that's the other side to that we shouldn't forget when we are in that, maybe looking for a new role, or now with employees leaving their roles looking for new opportunities, like really tapping into your own intuition to see, is that the right fit?
So, you use a key word here, and, this will help summarize our podcast for this go round. The word feel. Many people, when they're recruiting or they're hiring, a leader is hiring some employees, they go with the resume and they base the decision on what they think.
Yeah.
Now we want to also add, how do I feel about this person?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very easy way to help them figure out whether they should hire that person or not. So what do they think about the person, and how do they feel? Because the heart is going to be speaking then.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Great point.
absolutely. And through my meditation gave me this great energy. Whenever if you giving me 10 CVs, immediately I will realize which CV I will call or which CV I will not call, just because of the vibration.
Yeah,
That sense
exactly.
I get from
Yeah,
meditation.
yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
God grace.
awesome.
Yeah. It's practice.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Can anybody out there hear me? Hear me?